Okay, so first you guys saw Joe, Alex, and I's top 5 most anticipated movies of 2016, general releases. Then you saw Lucas and I's top 5 most anticipated superhero movies of this year because there's so many coming out. But now, knowing me, knowing I'm a fan of this genre, I decided to do my own solo top 5 of my top 5 most anticipated horror movies coming out this year. There's actually quite a lot of horror movies coming out this year. Now, I haven't seen The Forest yet. I'll get to it at some point. And since you guys reacted so well to my top 5 best and worst horror films that I get so far, I thought I'd do a most anticipated horror films of the year video. Now, keep in mind for this, guys, these are the movies I want to see the very most. If the movies that you want to see the very most aren't on here or they're ranked differently, I do apologize, but then again, this is my top 5. Now, of course, with any list on my channel, there are going to be some honorable mentions. Only 2, as a matter of fact. And the thing is, the 2 of them are from the same filmmaker. The first one getting out of the way is a secret project I've heard is called Hush. I have heard nothing about this movie. I know that Mike Flanagan, who is one of my horror movie directors to watch because he's directed 2 horror movies that really impressed me. One was called Absentia. It's on Netflix, I still believe, and it's a really, really well done horror film. Another one, which a lot of you guys didn't like, which was called Oculus, a really overlooked and very underwatched horror film that came out in 2014, a movie that I loved. This is called Hush. It was pretty much a film that was shot this year for I've heard. It was kept completely under wraps until it debuted, I believe, at the Toronto International Film Festival, and it got a lot of acclaim, and I am down to watch anything that this guy does. And speaking of anything to watch that this guy does, that is my second honorable mention. Now, considering how much I hated the first one, that came out in 2014, it was my number 2 most hated film of 2014. And I know you guys know it's coming, it's Ouija 2. Now, the only reason why I am looking forward to this one is because of one thing, because of Mike Flanagan. Again, now, this guy, I believe, is a guy that knows how to do horror. Horror is a more of a subtle thing, I guess you could say, when it comes to psychological or supernatural things. Mike Flanagan does subtle horror so well. And knowing that he's done a supernatural haunted mirror thing, something tells me that with the haunted Ouija board concept, he'll make it even better. He wrote, directed, and even edited this entire thing. Now, the only thing that makes me a little skeptical about this movie is the fact that Michael Bay is producing it once again. My biggest fear is that he interfered with Mike Flanagan in directing or editing it in some way, but from Twitter, I talked to Mike Flanagan on Twitter from time to time. He's a really cool guy, by the way, and I asked him, so are we going to expect the same thing from Ouija 1? And he said it is something completely different, it's something you're not expecting. Now, if it's anything, now if the tone is anything like Oculus, I think we're in for a treat here, so this could be the sequel that could be literally a dark night of horror movies. Those are my honorable mentions. Let's get into the top 5 movies I'm looking forward to being scared shitless the most this year.
Let us pray.
Coming on at my number 5 spot is yet another film done by Mike Flanagan. I swear to God, yeah. 3 movies from him coming out this year. That's insane. First, I was talking about Hush. Then I talked about Ouija 2. Now there's a film called Before I Wake. I've seen the trailer to this movie and it looks very creepy. From the plot synopsis of this movie, it's that this kid who's having dreams and his dreams are coming to life pretty much. It kind of reminds me, I don't know, I got an Inception vibe, but a horror vibe. Now again, with Mike Flanagan, anything that this guy does this day, I will watch it. And Before I Wake looks really creepy. I like the fact of someone's dreams maybe coming to life. I'm excited for it for that reason. So Mike Flanagan with your 3 movies, good luck, sir. Coming in at number 4 is a film from a filmmaker that we haven't seen anything from him since 2013's Evil Dead. Yes, Fede Alvarez. Now, if you guys remember, Evil Dead was my number 10 of 2013. It still stays that way. I loved Evil Dead. I loved what Fede Alvarez did with the remake. Now it comes out with a movie called A Man in the Dark, I believe it's called. Let me check it again. Yeah, it's called A Man in the Dark. Now, I know nothing about this movie. All I know is that it's coming out this year. I believe I saw it in September. All I know is that Fede Alvarez wrote it. His screenwriting partner who wrote Evil Dead with them wrote this. And this guy, I believe, has a really promising career in the horror genre. I prefer to know nothing. The trailer will hopefully be out soon. But for now, Man in the Dark is one of my most anticipated horror movies simply because Fede Alvarez is directing it. That's it. Okay, coming number 3 is a film that is actually based off of a short film. A really scary short film, by the way. It's a movie called Lights Out. Now, if you guys haven't heard the short film, check it out right now. I'll put the link in the description below, or I'll even put an annotation right there, the top of hopefully where this poster where it is. If it's not there, I'll just put a picture from the film or something like that. But if you haven't seen the short film, it basically has this woman who is in this hallway and she turns the lights on and off. And that's actually where I kind of got inspiration for my short film, The Portrait, the turning the lights on and off. And you see the creature right there. But the short film is really, really frightening. James Wan is producing it, and the same guy who directed the short film is directing the full length. Now, I hope this movie doesn't have the case of Mama, where the same filmmaker directed the original, which was a really scary short film, had a really scary creature with nice practical effects, and it turned out to be a CGI crap fest. I hope that this guy does not turn the same way with this one, but since when James Wan is directing it, or I mean producing it, should I say, I hope that this guy kind of starts showing this guy the ropes, because this short film was really scary. I know that Teresa Palmer is in this movie, and it comes out, I believe, in May or June. I love the original short film, and I cannot wait to see what they do with this in a full-length format. That's why it's my number 3. Alrighty, now coming at number 2 is a sequel. Yes, it's a number 2, how ironic. To a film that came out in 2013, which I loved. If you don't know what it is already, it's The Conjuring 2, the Enfield Poltergeist, I believe. Now, if you guys remember, I absolutely loved the first Conjuring. It's my number 2 favorite horror film of the decade so far. And from what I saw from this trailer, creeped me out in so many ways. It reminded me of why I loved the first Conjuring in the first place. It reminded me of why I put it as my number 1 film of 2013. James Wan came back, how the screenwriters came back, how Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson came back out as the Warrens. From what I've been hearing, the Enfield Poltergeist is one of the most studied cases, like, ever. It's one of the most recorded hauntings ever, and probably I've been hearing as well that the whole thing was just a prank on reporters. Regardless, all the things that happened, this could make for a really scary movie, and from if it's anything like this teaser I saw, we're in for a wild ride. I have messaged James Wan on Facebook if this might be his last horror film, and he said, this might be my last horror film. And if it's so, from what I'm seeing from the teaser, looks like he's gonna be knocking it out of the freaking park. So, it's another movie I'll be seeing with my pal Sarah, because I saw The Conjuring with her. So, all I can say is this, Conjuring 2, let's see if you're gonna be the bang for James Wan's horror career. That's why it's my number 2. Alrighty guys, so my number one most anticipated horror film of 2016. Now you must be thinking, what film beats The Conjuring 2, Lights Out, every Mike Flanagan movie that you put on here, a Fede Alvarez movie? I'll tell you right now, it's The Purge 3. Kidding. I kid, of course. I'm not looking forward to The Purge 3 at all. It looks, I don't even know why Purge 3 even exists. Number 1 goes to a movie called The Witch, or The Vitch, I believe it's called. There's 2 V's, but I'm going to call it The Witch. I bet you guys are asking, why this movie? I'll tell you why. Now, the thing is, guys, it's a whole thing of witches. It looks like a thing with the Salem Witch Trials, but put into New England. A lot of people don't know, but I'm obsessed with the Salem Witch Trials. I'm absolutely obsessed with the history of that stuff. Finding out about all those witch trials, they put a huge impact on my horror viewings. And this guy, Robert Eggers, from what I've seen from this trailer, the vibe looks exactly like that, but just fucking terrifying. This trailer, from the very first shot, gave me such a creepy and disturbing vibe from it, and it's been getting hits at Sundance. My buddy Scott Menzel saw it and he said it was really great, so that alone got me even more hyped from it. This movie looks like it's going to be scary as all hell. The cinematography looks absolutely beautiful. The tone the trailer gives away is so creepy. I cannot be more excited about The Witch. Out of all the movies coming out this year in terms of the horror genre, The Witch looks like it's going to scare me the most, looks like it's going to give me nightmares, looks like I won't be able to go to sleep. All I'm going to say is this, if this movie gives me the same reaction I got when I was watching The Babadook 2 years ago. So far, this movie has to top The Babadook, and The Babadook made me scream. Let's see if The Witch can make me scream. We'll find out. Alrighty guys, so those were my top 5 most anticipated horror films of 2015. As you can see, well, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I put on my Bloody Mary t-shirt because, you know, let's Bloody Mary, why not? So anyways guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the list. Comment and let me know below, what is your most anticipated horror movie of this year? And I hope you guys enjoyed all the anticipated videos of 2016. I cannot wait to see what this year has in store for us. But as always guys, until the next top 5 or review, I will see you guys next time.